You're right. You might be right. We'll continue to monitor these rankings. We will endorse these rankings throughout the season. We will make them a bigger part of the show, just so everybody knows whether you're the guy or you're still be the guy.
What I'm gonna do is at the end of the year, I'm gonna change them all to make them all the right guys. So I can.
I'm not going
to. I think they lock in August. To be honest, my draft. I think these rankings lock.
Whatever they say, I will go with. I will kayfabe this all the way to the end and make you the greatest ranker in the history of the world. But I don't know if I can do that.
You can. 18 baby, 18 baby, let's do it.
You got one on right here, so you've got I don't even know if I can say. What is happening, fellow fantasy GMs? I am JJ Wang. He is the bearded one, DJ Dub, and with our powers combined, we are the Fantasy Couriers.
Oh, we're getting closer week by week. We're getting closer, JJ Wang. If the league gets their way, we could be a week and a half away from training camp in a couple of years if they do that new thing where they get rid of OTAs and start training camp in July. We mentioned it a while back. Would that make it exciting?
And if the league also gets their way, quarterbacks will be making like $100 million in 2 years because evidently they got their own salary cap that they're thinking about introducing, which is absolutely insane. That's just going to make these quarterbacks want even more money, which is fine. They make a lot. They make a lot of money for these teams anyway. But this money's about to get out of control. I don't even know what the point of the salary cap is anymore. Just let them go out there and spend as much money as they want.
It's make-believe, but at least it keeps it balanced because if they don't keep it at some sort of a cap, it's going to be baseball, where everybody's just mad at the Dodgers and Yankees because my Guardians will have a guy. We got a guy right now, Quan, who is killing it, but we know he's only on our team for 3 years till he becomes a Dodger, Yankee, or some big city guy because there's no way Cleveland can drop $40 million on a guy.
I used to feel that way, but I'm at the point now in life where, you know what? I feel like the Yankees have been around a long time. They've put a lot of work into making as much money as they possibly can. There's a lot of fans, a lot of Yankee fans. So I mean, like maybe like a soft cap,
NBA,
but not necessarily. Don't punish the Yankees for making more money than the Tampa Bay Rays. I know Tampa Bay.
Major League Baseball, not. And that's the thing about it, it's a league. It's not, and that's what the thing like that almost be like, hey Panthers, you're going to have a $40 million cap, whereas the Patriots of yesteryears will have $175 million cap, and the Panthers will never have a chance. They got to get lucky.
I agree, but if that the Carolina thing is not a good example because the Carolina owner is extremely wealthy. He's extremely wealthy and he's pretty stupid. I feel like he would spend money on. I feel like he would probably end up spending most of the money in the league, which is it's quite possible.
Yeah, it's crazy stuff.
But like with the amount of money that these teams are already making, I think they should have to make it to where they got to spend like the amount of money that they're bringing in, right? They can't just be like, hey, I'm making $200 million. I'm only going to spend $50 million. But like if you're making that much money, you got to spend that much money.
But it's going to make the New York and LA teams bigger because that's where the money is. So Minnesota Vikings will never make money because they're out in the sticks. Green Bay Packers and Wisconsin, they'll never make that money to balance out being in New York.
Minnesota is making so much money right now with the TV revenue.
In grand scheme, they're not making LA money.
Well, I mean, you can't punish LA for making LA money. I see what you're saying. I mean, I've got no issues. I think it's fine the way it is. But sometimes like if you're a team of those LA teams or those New York teams, you're like, why can't my team spend more than these bums? It's not my fault. And
I wouldn't live there.
You're saying to Miami, so it's not like Miami wouldn't be short on money.
Yeah. The problem is they're short on fans because it's such a fair weather area that you either love them or you're just like, oh, I'm going to stop by. Anyway, Moving on to guys you love. Apparently, your boy Brandon Ayuk, who you're quite fond of, the Niners don't want him. So
they don't want him, but I mean, I have heard that they do want him, so it's kind of conflicting conflicts there. But what I found that didn't make any sense. But what I found interesting was the person that he was talking to when he said this was Jaden Daniels from the Washington Commanders. Maybe the Commanders could be pulling something. Maybe Daniels can have a little pool there and say, hey, get my boy. Because evidently I didn't realize that when Daniels was a freshman, he was passing Ayuk as a senior at Arizona State. Wasn't aware of that. So they do go back a ways. Maybe Daniels can put a little birdie in the ear of these owners and be like, hey, get my boy over here.
Yeah, just trade Dotson over there. I'd say Terry.
Dotson, you would have to add something to Dotson,
Yeah,
but
Dotson, some picks. Yeah, but because then you'll save the money. But hey, guess what? I got published again this week. I'm finally back in the Fantasy Pros. I think they just give smaller windows, is what I noticed. I'm going to check during the week, or I did my rankings, so they're up and live on fantasycouriers.com. But this week's question were 3 breakout players, a running back, a receiver, and either a tight end or a quarterback. I loved some guys in there. They put my boy Devon Achane as their guy to break out. I did make a rule that I don't think a rookie can break out. Can they? If you've never been, you can't break out from nothing. So
yeah, well, I mean, if you're, I mean, that's a rookie breakout. I mean, they're breaking out. You know, they're expecting 0, right? So, I mean, if you get 600 yards, that's not really breakout. But if you come in and get 1,200 yards and 8 touchdowns, I feel like that's a major breakout.
Yeah, so I avoided it because one guy did actually write Jalen Wright, and I'm like, I don't know, but I went with our boy Zamir White. Looking at how we talked about last week, his last 4 games, love of Zamir White. I know you'd be proud of me for that one. I did find out as I was doing some research on him, if you look at him, he averaged 92.25 yards per game in that last one with 4.73 yards per carry, which is pretty money as a bell cow back. Not that Achane, you know, he ran for 80 yards and then won like 7 times, which makes, you know, but so he had some stuff in there. And I mean, look at what's behind him. I just threw out Madison Abdullah and Dylan Lowe. I think he's pretty solid. So I think he would approve of that one.
Oh, absolutely, 100%. I love Zamir White. The only drawback in his game is the receiving backs. I think his upside is kind of capped. I don't know how many catches he's going to have. So we're hoping on a lot of touchdowns and just a lot of groundwork. But I mean, he can't catch the ball out of the backfield. It's not like he can't do it. So it just depends on how they want to use him. But yeah, I love the pick.
Yeah, and I mean, if you look at those last 4 games, I was looking at it too. Half of his games though, he had 3+ receptions. So we'll see how it pans out if they did get him more. I think his only drawback is he plays for the Raiders, but you know.
But in the world of football, no matter who you play with, running backs still produce. So I mean, you can be one of the worst teams in the league, but I mean, you've got a good running back. I mean, it still works out.
Yeah, I saw some Jaleel McLaughlins. Then we go to the receiver.
It might be. I heard I've heard a lot of Jaleel McLaughlin lately over the last couple of days too, as well. Yeah.
Honestly, the guy I just don't see Tajay Spears breaking out. I think they're going to be a true duo when they go through it. But receivers, I went a little risque. My brother told me this one was risque. I said Justin Herbert doesn't have a number 1 receiver. The guy who they think might be the number 1 receiver is a dude whose only drawback when he came in the NFL was he couldn't catch the ball very well, or a rookie who really doesn't have a extensive college profile in McConkey. So I was like Joshua Palmer. When he plays, he gets like 7 or 8 targets. Somebody's got to be. They're going to run a lot, but somebody. I mean, if you look at his thing last year, he had 6 games with 7+ targets. He had 15.3 per reception. And we knew Keenan Allen was the guy Herbert was going to throw to 95 out of 96 times. So now that he's gone, somebody's got to get that on, you know, Herbert's 10 throws a game because they're going to run the ball all the time. But why not Joshua Palmer for a breakout year if he's healthy? Health is a big thing.
I can see that. I think the way the Chargers are going to work, I think the Chargers are going to be super efficient. They're not going to need as many plays in order to get what they're going to get here. I agree that they're probably going to be more of a run-heavy team. It'll take a little pressure off of
Herbert.
Yeah, take a little pressure off Herbert and maybe open up some more things for these younger wide receivers. I can see Palmer being relevant. Quentin Johnson possibly. Not a fan of Lab McConkey, but we'll see how it works out. Passes got to go somewhere.
Brendan Rice.
They might not pass a lot, but I think they'll be very efficient when they pass.
Yeah, that's a good one. The one, like, okay, we can say rookies, but Marvin Harrison Jr. for a breakout, isn't he already expected to be a stud? Like, is that a real breakout?
Yeah, I'll agree with you there. It's not
that's probably the only one. Probably the big one.
I was thinking. I've actually was thinking about. I really want to put Marvin Harrison on my top guy list. Because I've really come. I think I love this guy. I think by the end of the year he'll be the number 1 wide receiver. But we'll talk about that. We'll talk about hearing that in a little bit. I don't want to get too much into it, but yeah, I totally agree.
I
Can't
told
break out.
Brett,
He's already
I thought a
yeah.
lot of guys would put JSN. Like that's the tough one because of all
Yeah.
the guys that are there. Keon Coleman, another rookie. Zay Flowers, maybe. Your boy Pickens. He thought I would have put Pickens because you love Pickens so much. It's like
Mike
I'm a Zach.
Pickens.
A bunch of guys put
Mike
Pickens.
Pickens.
Tank Dell, Neighbors, rookie. So then the option was quarterback or tight end. I was like, I talk about tight ends enough. And I mean, really, the only tight end that people think might break out this year is Kyle Pitts, depending upon your opinion. So a bunch of guys put him. And then you know who I wrote about, don't you?
Mike Gesicki.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, you said quarterback. Never mind.
Quarterback breakout for this year.
Will Levis.
Will Levis, baby. And we'll talk about him later. So I'm just going to leave it there. But I've talked about him enough. But the opening of my article was pretty good. You'd like this part. I said, when the Tennessee Titans drafted Will Levis in the second round of the NFL draft, the fantasy court community was lukewarm about his prospects, to say the least.
Yeah, I'm still Luke Cold.
So, that's where we go. So we're going to take a couple weeks, and we're going to look at my Dynasty rankings, talk about them. And sometimes they're hot, sometimes they're cold. And the thing is, I was listening to the Dynasty show today, and some guys were like, we made 2 bold predictions, and none of them were even close. I had some rankings that dropped off, but as we get started.
Yeah, so I'm going to go through.
In the fantasy world, nothing is certain. Dynasty seems like forever until it isn't. Let's take a look at Dynasty quarterbacks.
I didn't think I'd have it ready. I got a new little mixing board I want to play with at some point. I was like, I got some music. I'll throw something in there. So we're starting. It's summer, so I can do some fun things.
Yeah, I think you need to throw your name in that.
Throw my name in it? Ooh.
I think instead of saying Dynasty running backs, I think you need to say DJ Dove's Dynasty running backs. I need, if we're going to promote your rankings, they got to know whose rankings they are, correct?
Yeah. So that's a good call. We'll look into that for when I create next week's, when I forget about it to the last minute. But if you want to check it out, you can go to fantasycouriers.com. The article's on there, and my rankings are on there as well. You can see how JJ Wang is busting my chops. And before we get too far, next week we're going to announce top guys, or whenever I create some top guy music. That's really when it's going to come. Or I remember to put up the poll for people to vote who they think we're going to pick as our top guy. But
I feel like before we do our top guys, we should do like an update.
An update? We can wait. Let's wait. I mean, why not do a update in July and then do our top guy? I think last year we did our top guy in August.
There we go. Yeah, I think honestly, I think we should do our top guy right before the season starts.
So do that. So the one right before our bold prediction show.
Yeah, we can do something like that. Yeah.
Okay, so the rankings are on there if you want to see them. I'm still working on making the page, figuring out the colors because I realized my 2 things are the same color, so I got to play with those. Rookie rankings are on there. They won't be there much longer because rookie draft season. We got a couple more to go. Still trying to get some guys' email. But it's up there. Check it out. I'll play it some this summer, see what we get. So, JJ Wang, run me through the ringer. We're looking at quarterbacks. What you thinking, brother?
All right, so we'll just go. We'll do this kind of simple. We're at the top 5, and then we'll just go in five count increments. Run
Even
through
my number 4. Even my number 4.
Yeah, we'll go. I mean, don't worry. We'll get him. Don't worry. He's going to be talking. I know you're excited. Slow down. But yeah. So at the top, I mean, top 3 are, I think, pretty consensus. You got Patrick Mahomes, Josh Allen, Lamar Jackson. Only thing is, Josh Allen's been the number 1 quarterback the last 3 years. I mean, are you saying this changes this year?
I'm looking at the running, and I think when I looked at it, I'm looking at Dynasty. So this isn't just the guy that we're going to have for this year. So in my redraft rankings, I'll have them arranged differently. Actually, redraft, Josh Allen is my number 1. But I'm looking as we go ahead, and I think Mahomes is going to have longevity of being up here longer because eventually Allen and Lamar are going to have to depend more on their arms and less on their legs, which is where I think the value. I mean, we're splitting hairs, these 3 guys, but that's why I do have Mahomes there because he's he's basically our Tom Brady of this generation, right? Because he's spreads it to a bunch of no names and Travis Kelce, and now he's going to have some decent. I mean, apparently Rashee Rice isn't getting suspended. Are they going to ever announce? They're going to announce a suspension the night before the season, and he's suspended for 22 games. But he's starting to get some core there. But we're not worried about him losing rushing touchdowns because he doesn't. He gets a couple. But if Josh Allen, Ray Davis is there, Lamar Jackson, Derrick Henry's there. Lamar Jackson's scary this year.
Oh yeah, I agree. All right, so let's go to the most interesting guy in the top five. You have him at number 4. It's Kyler Murray. So when I first saw it, I was like, I don't really understand. I don't see it. But then I've sat here and thought about it over the last 30, 35 minutes. I'm like, I really, really do love Marvin Harrison. I mean,
Bam,
I really like Trey Benson. And
bam.
When Kyler Murray's on the field, Kyler Murray scores a lot of points. So as crazy as it sounds, I think it's very possible Kyler Murray could be the number 1 quarterback this year. And I don't think it can necessarily be very close. I think he could have like an MVP type season.
I love that you're falling there. He's ECR 9, so I'm way above everybody else. But it's Marvin Harrison, it's Trey McBride. We love Benson. I mean, I think Benson will come later, but James Conner could do the same thing. I mean, you're looking. I mean, Michael Wilson. Everybody's forgetting him on the other side. He's a decent player. I mean, so he's going to get he's going to get some of the catches there. And I'm losing there's another receiver in there that is a decent player. I'm losing my mind today, but
Isn't it the short guy, the shorter guy?
no, he's gone. He's in Atlanta. Like I'll think of it as soon as we're done recording. Yeah,
right,
Rondell Moore went to Atlanta.
Yeah, you're right.
But and he runs. So I mean, he's not number 1, but I am higher generally on Kyler than a lot of people. Like I got him for pennies on the dollar in the last couple of years because everybody's like, Kyler's going to stink it up. Zay Jones is there now, so Zay Jones is nothing to write about, but he's a good possession receiver. Greg Dortch is still. I mean, I think he's underrated, but where he fits in his role. I mean, Marvin Harrison's just so good that he's just up there, and those role guys could fit. Like that's where I felt with it. I was like, dude, why not?
Yeah. I mean, as a fantasy player, you're not excited watching Kyler Murray because he'll have 0 points going into the 4th quarter and somehow end up with 25. But I mean, like you said, with Marvin Harrison, I think that completely changes. I think the offense changes. I sold myself for Kyler Murray in like 30 minutes. So I mean, that was pretty easy. Next 5. So you got number 6 at CJ Stroud, and then at number 7, I feel like everything starts to kind of like, I don't think off the rails, but maybe it might kind of like slant a little bit. So as much as I love this guy that at number 7, you've got Jordan Love as the number 7th ranked quarterback based off of 8 games from last season. So are you safe with that? Now, granted, his receivers are young. They don't really have a good wide receiver. I like Jordan Love, but maybe 7 might be a little high.
I mean, I've got Anthony Richardson at 9, and he's played, 3 games? So, or CJ Stroud's at 6. He was a rookie. He didn't even get tutelage under Aaron Rodgers. This dude came in and played a rookie year. How many people have had a great rookie year and just pooped the bed? So I'm like, I love as much as we don't love the receiving core, I love the receiving core because he doesn't have to worry about, I've got to get the ball to Devontae Adams. He's got this core of young dudes that are going to grow with him, and I just see him growing every year. You made me fall in love with him. I hated the dude. I thought he was hot garbage. He's ECR 11. I'm off the rails on this.
Yeah, I mean, I like the guy. I mean, I'm a fan, but like I said, top 7, maybe a little much. I mean, top 12, I think he could definitely be fighting because I think the next two guys I'm still taking over him. That's definitely taking Joe Burrow over Jordan Love. I'm just going to, just going over the last few years that, he's just been a top quarterback. Anthony Richardson, I know he's only played the 4 games, got injured. But I think the upside at this point may be a little higher than Jordan Love. Plus the value, I think, when Anthony Richardson, he's just worth more. So I would definitely take him there. I think his rushing helps. His rushing helps a lot. And then I would probably take Jordan Love over this next guy. But then again, I would probably take the next 6 guys behind him over this guy as well. And of course, I've got no quarrels with what you do here. I mean, he's your guy. He plays for your team. And that's Tua Tagovailoa. Now, what I will say, if Tua Tagovailoa played like he did the first 8 games of the season last year, I could possibly agree with you. But his last 8, 9 games, he was just an quarterback, nothing special. Now, did they figure out how to play defense on this guy? Who knows? I guess we're going to find out this season. Last year was the first time he's played a whole season. He did finish his number 9, so kudos to him. But I think Tua's you're basing Tua off the first 8 games of the season last year. Are you safe with that?
I mean, Tua is risky, but could we say the same thing about Jalen Hurts last year? The first half was great, and the last half, the Eagles were garbage, hot garbage, and a whole mess. You do.
I did forget to mention Jalen Hurts. He's at number 5.
I struggled with him at 5, but I was like, I got to put him up there until he proves otherwise because of the legs and everything. And I think he might fall farther because I'm really worried about the tush push being gone, and there's half his value. But I've got to figure out, where do you put the guy that throws the most passing yards in the league? That was Tua. He's young. He's going to get so he's guaranteed to be in Miami for 5 more yards. Tua was the highest passing yards in the league.
I'm not arguing that point, but I'll tell you where
yards per attempt was still 8.3. Let's see, where does that fall? I'm clicking here to go. It's not even else.
So I would be interested in seeing what his numbers were the first 8 games compared to his numbers the last 8 games.
Well,
we'll do some research on that. So with Tua, I would take the next 3 guys over Tua. I would take Brock Purdy. I like the offense better, and I think on average, I think over a period of game, I think he's a little safer. Trevor Lawrence, I mean, you could probably make an argument there, but I'm still taking Trevor Lawrence. And honestly, your guy, I would probably take Jared Goff over Tua. If he's in that offense for the next 3 years, we play Dynasty in a 2 to 3 year window. Still probably taking Jared Goff. Then you put the 2 rookies in there. This is where I think it might start getting fishy. Caleb Williams and Jaden Daniels. Me personally, I'd probably take them both over Tua. Tua's dropping like a rock here. But hey, that is what. So, but I might. It's iffy. But I think the real question starts here. These next 2 guys, you got at 16 and 17, have been fantasy producers on a consistent basis. Yet you're still picking Tua and Jordan Love with half seasons. Hold on. Slow down. We've got Justin Herbert at 16, who missed the last few games of last season, but when he played, he was still a top option. He was still pretty consistent. I know his receivers have changed. And then Dak Prescott, I think he still re-signs with Dallas. As much as I don't like Dak Prescott, I'm not a fan, but he is a very good fantasy producer, and he has helped me win championships in fantasy. And I don't think much changes with that. He might throw even more. So where's your justification in I will give you the other guys, but I think Justin and Dak, I think they deserve a little more respect in the fantasy world.
See, the reason the rookies like Caleb, I know I'm lower on because I still not, I'm not. If you've heard this show, I'm not sold on him, but I think he could get up there into the top 6. It depends if he runs. If he doesn't run, he's going to be 6, 7, 8. Justin Herbert, we talked about it earlier. What are the Chargers going to do? He's going to be efficient, but efficient means he could throw for 1 touchdown, have 200 yards in a game. Gus Edwards runs for 2 touchdowns.
Do you know what else he could be efficient? He could be Brock Purdy efficient.
But they're not. Gus Edwards is not going to catch the ball to the backfield to score. Had a game last year with 167 yards. It was week 4 versus the Raiders. Touchdown, interception. He had a 4-game thing. I mean, Justin Herbert's no schmuck. I mean, quarterback I found in this was the hardest one because until you get to the guy that you really hate coming up, it's like pretty much almost right here to Dak. A lot of these guys I could move up and down. There's some guys later that are really good, but they're just old. So these guys here, we're going to look at the end of the year and see these guys and go, you know what? Trevor Lawrence had 20 more points than Brock Purdy. That's a point a week, and that's not game changers. Like when we look at the end of the season, so the quarterback was so hard. I'd be like, oh, I'd have this guy be like, oh, I want him here, but I'm pushing him here. I just think that Miami offense steps up. That's why Tua is down there. Justin Herbert, Dak would be a guy I would have no problem moving up because of what he's in, and I have love for Dak that you have hatred for him. So he's the one of the ones, like I joked with you before, I'd let you move anybody. He might be one I would let you. Where would you place Dak? Would you say Dak falls? I mean, say we leave the guys right there. Would you put him in my Tua, Purdy, Lawrence range? Would you put him?
I would put him in the Anthony right there. I would put him above Jordan Love, above Tua. So it would go Burrow, Richardson, and then probably Dak. And then Herbert would probably be right there.
Yeah, Herbert. I don't know. Is he just
That's fine.
struggling with
Hey,
what's going to happen?
you're right. You might be right. We'll continue to monitor these rankings. We will endorse these rankings throughout the season. We will make them a bigger part of the show, just so everybody knows whether you're the guy or you're still be the guy.
What I'm gonna do is at the end of the year, I'm gonna change them all to make them all the right guys. So I can.
I'm not going to.
I think they lock in August. To be on my draft, I think these rankings lock.
Whatever they say, I will go with. I will kayfabe this all the way to the end and make you the greatest ranker in the history of the world. But I don't know if I can do that.
You can. 18, baby. 18, baby. Let's do it.
You got going on right here. So you've got. I don't even know if I can say it. We got Will Levis at QB 18. Absolutely insane. I know they added a few weapons. Blah blah blah. But all right. So you're telling me over the next 2 years, like I said, in a 2 or 3 year window, you're that confident that Will Levis makes a leap to compete with the likes of Dak Prescott, who's right ahead of him?
No, there's a line right there. So he would be in the next tier. So he's not getting above. I mean, I've got him at quarterback 18. So
that's
once again, there's the score. Quarterback 18. I mean, the next one I might have to move, but quarterback 18. I was on a high about Bryce Young, but I'm just like I wrote about him in my thing. He is this close to being my top guy because I think that all you've heard. He is close. Last year it was 2, and all he did was lead the league in passing, but because they're changing their format. They are making this a passing team. If you're making a passing team, who benefits? The quarterback. He's in the Caleb Williams situation as far as I'm concerned. He either succeeds on he's got a giant arm. He's just got to be accurate. If he's going to be accurate with these guys, he'll do it. But he's like Caleb Williams. Those guys are their own worst enemy. They either excel because of themselves or they fall flat on their stinking face. And the Bears have had how many quarterbacks that have been top quarterbacks in the NFL not named Jay Cutler? For 1 year?
I mean, Justin Fields had a good fantasy year 1 year.
It's because he ran on the Dolphins 100 yards or 50 yards. He killed him.
All right. So look, I hope you are right on Will Levis. Right? Like I don't really own Will Levis. I don't got any hate towards the guy. I'm just going by outside looking at. Look, I hope I'm wrong here and you're right, just because I love your enthusiasm. So we're going to run down these next guys, right? And then I'll tell you where I'm stopping with Will Levis, all right?
All right, so I have that many guys on my list.
We'll stop in between and talk about guys. So at 19, you got Bryce Young, still taking him. Baker Mayfield. I'm not a fan of Baker Mayfield, but I'm still probably taking Baker Mayfield over Will Levis. Bo Nix. I think Bo Nix might be a little higher, but I know you like Bo Nix.
I love Sean McVay. That's what it is. I'm not sure.
And then
coach.
And then at 22, we got JJ McCarthy, and then 23, we got Kirk Cousins. So Kirk Cousins, I think the next 2 years is going to be fine. JJ McCarthy, I don't understand that hate for JJ McCarthy. I don't get it. I think he played fine at Michigan. He didn't have to showcase his talents. But I think, it's a 50-50 shot. Like you said, they're a quarterback. But I think McCarthy stands just as a better chance as to make it as Bo Nix. I think the offense is a little better. Like I said, as far as coaches, they got Sean Payton, and can't remember the guy for Minnesota, but he's from the McVay tree, so it kind of works out there. So like the only one, like I said, Bo Nix. I know you like Bo Nix. Sell me on Bo Nix a little bit.
I am honestly selling you on Sean Payton and what Sean Payton does with quarterbacks, like making just people. Is it Pete? No, that's the Minnesota College. Sorry, I was trying to find the Vikings coach. I was losing my mind. I'm really going on. I'm trusting Sean Payton. And Payton, he got his guy. He didn't want Russell Wilson. He went in with there. He's going to build this around Bo Nix. Bo Nix was the guy they want. I've seen some stuff pop up that they were saying they were going to go up to get people to mess around with him, but they wanted Bo Nix. Bo Nix has his number one receiver from college there. Cortland Sutton's not long for the world. So it's good. This year might not be as grand, but he's going to move up. JJ McCarthy right after Bo Nix. If you go look at my redraft rankings, have Sam Darnold higher than JJ McCarthy.
I got a question.
hate seeing Darnold.
I've been asking myself all week. So we're constantly saying quarterbacks should sit a year, quarterbacks should sit a year, quarterbacks should sit a year. And then when they actually do sit, they kind of get trashed. I mean, what has McCarthy done? I feel like there's been nothing but hate for McCarthy because it's kind of like, well, Darnold's the starter, McCarthy's just some random guy. He hasn't done anything. Like he hasn't done anything to say that he's not a good quarterback. So I mean, if he's setting for I just don't understand the correlation between we want them to set, but then when they do set, we kind of trash them because they're setting.
I half agree, half don't agree. I think we've seen so many quarterbacks fail that have gotten this high.
Oh yeah,
and then we see what the Packers have done every stinking time, but nobody does it. We saw Carson Palmer came into the league. He's set for that year under Kitna, and then he came in and killed it. Now, could he have won the first year? We'll never know. But we've also seen these guys that come in like Bryce Young. I'm probably way too high on him. He looked like hot garbage.
I kind of like Bryce. I like your Bryce. I like your Bryce Young spot.
It seems like they're doing the right thing in Carolina by building around him. So I mean, that's why Bryce Young's higher. But Bo Nix has got a big, strong arm. He's got plenty of experience. So I mean, he's in the worst quarterback in the NFL.
I love when people have a nice strong arm, but that when that's their number one attribute is a nice big arm. I think that should be like number 3 on the list. I mean, you've got to have the other things the strong arm is fine, but I mean it's not going to get you very far.
74.9% career completion percentage. Is that pretty good?
Yeah, but it boosted by Oregon, who throws the ball at running backs constantly.
Well, maybe that's what Peyton's going to do. He's going to look at him in fantasy. That's fine. That gets us touchdowns. Tom Brady years.
That doesn't work in then. That kind of offense doesn't work. I mean, when I say drop it off to the running back, it's like every time. I mean, it's crazy. There's no running back going to get that kind of usage. I mean, well, McCaffrey does, but that's kind of different. All right, so let's start at number 24. We got Deshaun Watson. I'd probably still take Deshaun Watson over Will Levis.
No, that hurts. Too bad. Don't do that one.
At 25, we got Matt Stafford. He's getting older. He's 36 here. I didn't realize. I know that's a tough sell. I think him and Aaron Rodgers, I think they're both still good for another 2 years. So I think you're good there. Michael Penix at 26. And this one I'm having a lot of troubles with. So you got 27th with Drake May. Now, if we're talking redraft, I can understand, but we're talking dynasty here. There's not a world where I would take Will Levis over Drake May any possible way. I think Drake May as a dynasty rookie quarterback in the 3rd position. I know he plays for the Patriots, and you hate the Patriots. You're allowed to do whatever you want to do. I understand. But if Drake May is the 3rd overall quarterback falling to the 27th ranked dynasty, that one's hard. That one's real hard for me.
I mean, Drake May for me, the rookies, I could move them above the old guys. I mean, Will Levis and Drake May are, they're both starting quarterbacks. Drake May, maybe he's going to set behind Jacoby Brisket.
Maybe. I mean, it's possible. Like I said, that wouldn't affect me because I understand, like, if the coach wants him to set, I mean, maybe that's best for the team. We've seen plenty of examples where they set for a year and they play fantastic and it works out. And we never know if they could have worked out in that first year. Is it a lost year? I wouldn't consider it a lost year. But, I mean, like I said, because they're still successful. But maybe the coach is just like, hey, I'm trying to build something here. Let's just go with the safe play. We'll start Brissett, and if things fold, we'll go to May. But I think as a 3rd overall pick, that's really hasn't shown that he can't do it. I think 27's a little low.
Yeah, I'm playing my odds of quarterbacks in the first rounds that succeed, which there are 5 of them. How many of those quarterbacks will be starting for wasn't your boy the Cowboys backup? Wasn't he drafted? What number was he drafted by the 49ers?
Yeah, Lance, he was third. He was third.
Third? He was third. Oh, look, when was Drake May drafted?
He was third.
He was third. Drake May played like one more season than your boy in San Francisco. He only started 2 seasons. So, but then he played 3 years later. So,
but we're talking quarterback. I know that there's more that fail than make it. I totally get that. Drake may fail. JJ McCarthy may fail. A bunch of these quarterbacks may fail, but you know what? Some of them are going to succeed, right? So I think we got to look at it in terms of, yeah, they may fail, but there is a chance that they're going to succeed too, because that's what happens. Nobody is a sure bet in the NFL.
Minus 10 on Drake May. They have him ECR 17.
Yeah, that's a lot. That's a lot.
Do you like the Penix over May? Do you think Penix will start sooner rather than later? Or do you think it's too high for him? That's right.
I think Drake May is better than Michael Penix. I think where you got Michael Penix is fine because I think he does sit a little longer with Kirk Cousins probably playing well. But yeah, I'd still put Drake May above all those guys. I would put him right there, like behind Dak Prescott, where you have him.
Right. Also, after Will Levis, I get it.
No, before Will Levis. Yeah,
after Will Levis. Right? Now you said after.
All right. Let's finish with the last few guys we got. So you got the Pittsburgh situation with Russell Wilson and Justin Fields. That's going to be tricky. Yeah, I mean that's safe. You got Daniel Jones. Who knows what Daniel Jones is going to happen? Him, Geno Smith. You got Aaron Rodgers here, Derek Carr. That's pretty much all the starters right there. You got Minshew. I think you can probably put Aaron Rodgers. I would rather have Aaron Rodgers than Daniel Jones because what if Daniel Jones is only playing one more year? So that moves him up to third. I'd probably put him ahead of Russell Wilson and Justin Fields until there's a surefire situation there. But after that, I mean, I would maybe 25-ish. I would Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers. I don't think there's much of a difference there. I mean, I think if Aaron Rodgers plays, I think they could still both end up playing for the same amount of years. So I think Matthew Stafford or Aaron Rodgers probably belongs right here with Matthew Stafford and Deshaun Watson.
I can see that. Like, it could be that I just don't like Aaron Rodgers. Like, really, like,
I totally understand.
It's great that he's a Jet because I hate the Jets and I don't like Aaron Rodgers. And he's hitting 40. Is he going to be Drew Brees that played good over 40, Tom Brady who played stellar over 40, or everybody else that didn't make it to 40, or when they got to 40 they fell on their faces? I mean, we were looking at Russell Wilson, who was a fantasy stud, and he started sucking at 33.
But I think Aaron Rodgers he's just your smart quarterback type. He's not going to take unnecessary. He'll make a bad throw instead of taking a hit. So I mean, he'll throw the ball away, and he's the one to take a big hit. The injury last year was unfortunate. I mean, he did get hit hard. I mean, he hurt his leg, tore his Achilles. I mean, that happens just running down the field. So I think he's smart. He's not going to take hits. He's going to stand in the pocket, and I think he's just going to be super efficient. And I think he can play till he's 41, 42 if he wants to.
Where would you put him? I'll move him there right now. And as long as
honestly, I would put him before Deshaun. I would put him at 24.
24. Well, our
honestly, I could put him above Kirk Cousins. I would put him above Kirk Cousins as well.
Really? Okay.
Yeah.
So the rankings will be changed to reflect JJ Wang's thing, and then we'll see what I think in about a few.
So hold on, real quick. Was that your way of getting me out of moving the guys that you don't want me to move? That was very tricky. I didn't catch that until the end, but I'll give you that one.
Yeah, those were two. I'm going to stand pat on those two. I'll give you Aaron Rodgers. Right. I know you love Aaron Rodgers. I'll move him up, and it's officially published. So if you're looking at my rankings prior, you would see, hey, wait, that wasn't there. Well, there you go. And that's the crazy thing about rankings. Like, you'll look at some like whoa, I am way low on Drake May. But I mean, it could be wrong. It could be totally wrong. He could be Peyton Manning.
If I did rankings, you know my love for players. So when I do rankings, it's going to look. I like guys. I mean, I understand. You can put, like I said, I'll support these. I mean, overall, I think they're good rankings. A guy here or there is high, but that's everybody's rankings. there's like really no difference. But yeah, I mean, I'll start supporting these rankings. I'll start basing my fantasy teams off of your rankings. How about that?
I would not encourage that. I just realized, Zach Wilson's still there because they had some guys that were standard. I can't have him on my rankings. He's gone. You will never see Zach Wilson on my rankings. So there we go.
I understand. He may no one may ever see him ever again. I mean, he might go to back in the milk carton by the end of the year.
Oh, he was ranked second, not third. That was close. So that's quarterback dynasty rankings from DJ Dub. Check him out, www.thefantasycouriers.com. Next week we're going to talk about running backs. That's the hard, like, was it quarter? I don't know. One of these, I forget which one just drove me a little.
Running backs would be. I think running backs are extremely difficult.
After the first 4, it gets messy because you're like,
it gets stupid. I agree.
Like, I mean, you got the big 3, and then if you throw McCaffrey in, but it just gets messy because they fall off. I mean, Todd Gurley. Everybody's seen that meme by now. Todd Gurley is still what, like number 8 to 10 on touchdowns over the last 5 years, and he hasn't played for, or 10 years, whatever it was.
And he's only like 28 or something.
Yeah, he's only like 28. You think he's 52. So it's insane to think that kind of stuff. So give us some wisdom. Let's go out. If anything happens over the weekend, we are recording this the Friday before the week because I am going to go get sunburnt at the beach.
Yeah, so I was talking about wrestling last week. So I'm going to go with wrestling again. I know a lot of people think wrestling is stupid, and they would probably think this gimmick was probably like, what the hell is going on? But the Wyatt 6 introduction I thought it was absolutely insane. Of course, my favorite wrestler over the last few years was Bray Wyatt. I love what he did. A lot of supernatural stuff. I can't say that I agree with it. Honestly, it really didn't work out. It's hard to do supernatural stuff, even in wrestling, and make it seem real. But but the way they said, they literally went into the back and murdered like 17 people. And then they went and had a Whataburger burger afterwards. There's a picture of a fan with them afterwards. Of course, they're not in their gear. But I know if you don't like wrestling, but if you have an inkling, just go back and watch it just to get a feel for it. I mean, it's kind of like a horror movie. So if you like horror movies, I think you should give it a shot. But I thought it was one of the most entertaining things I've seen.
The Wyatt 6, SICKS. Did you notice that? Like not.
Well, they also put a 6 as the S at the end of 6.
Oh yeah. I was listening to Chatter like prior to this show. Actually, that's the hilariousness of this.
Yeah, I mean it's pretty tricky, but I still think they add another person. I think the addition of Alexa Bliss.
That's coming.
I think that's going to be later on down the line, just to like build so they can build her up. Because I mean, she's still a very, very, very popular wrestler. So yeah, I'll talk wrestling for hours. So I better stop now. I know nobody else likes it. So as always, trust yourself and trust the process.